What's up, Transit? How you guys doing? Woo! Good. Well, I am so excited to be here. And before we jump into it, I have a question that requires a little bit of some of your participation. So I need you to make some noise if you are the youngest in your family. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of you. I am also the youngest in my family. I have two older brothers, and so throughout my childhood, I was really picked on by my older brothers, and there's one instance in particular that I really remember. I remember sitting in my room, and I was so mad at them. I have no idea why. I don't remember what they did to me, but I was sitting in there, and I was like, I need to make my brothers pay for what they've done. So I came up with this whole plan. My parents were gone for the day, and so they were like watching me, and I was like, I'm going to run away from home. Okay, so I'm like, here's what I'll do. I'll run away from home. They're gonna freak out, feel so bad about what they did, and then when my parents come home, they're gonna be so mad at them that they'll send them to boarding school, and I'll be the only child, and life will be perfect, and that was my plan. So I got a lunchbox, filled it up with some snacks, got a bath towel, I'm not sure why, and my little flip phone, okay? So it was a phone, but it flipped open and it had buttons and it was wild. So those were the three things, and I walked out the front door. And this is real, this is really something I did. And I was walking down the driveway, and I didn't quite make it out of the yard when I realized that there was this hill in our front yard, and if you were standing looking in our yard, if I was on the bottom of the hill, they wouldn't be able to see me. So I'm like a physics master now. I'm like, the circumference of they won't be able to see me. So I lay down my towel and I sit down and I wait. And I'm waiting, and I hear them come outside, and they're like, Allie? And I'm like, and then I hear them kind of like get a little worried, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So I hear them like panicking, running around the backyard, yelling my name, and I'm like, ha, this is working. Like, I'm a genius and my plan is working. Until my phone starts ringing, and it's my mom. So I'm like, hello. And she's like, where are you? I'm like, well, I ran away from home because my brothers are just being so mean and horrible, and like I just couldn't stay there anymore. And she did not buy it. She was like, Allie, go in the house and apologize to your brothers. And I was like, they should be apologizing to me, first of all, but also apologizing is weird and hard and takes a lot of humility, and I really didn't want to. Because a lot of times in my life, if I do something that maybe I shouldn't do, or I say something that maybe I shouldn't say, or I hurt someone, I kind of just want to like move on, right? Like, I don't want to have to deal with it. Maybe some of you have been in a situation where you were mean to someone, or you excluded someone, or you did something, and instead of bringing it up and apologizing, you just want to move on. Because if you bring it up, maybe they had forgotten about it, and then you just bring it back up, or it could be weird or awkward, so you just want to move on. I know I felt that. Maybe some of you have felt that. In fact, so many people have felt that Jesus felt like he needed to address it with his disciples. So in Matthew, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says this. He says, therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, time out. Basically, this is language saying what you do to worship. Okay, so for us today, it would be like when we go to transit to worship, or when we're reading our Bible, or when we're praying, okay? So that's what this is talking about. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to them, then come and offer your gift. So Jesus is looking at his disciples saying, hey, if you're worshiping God, if you're spending time with God, and you realize that you have a relationship that you could mend, you need to stop what you're doing and go apologize. Go mend that relationship. And when I first read that, it kind of blew my mind, because I'm like, that doesn't really make any sense. But think about it like this. Imagine that you have done something really bad to a friend, okay? I don't know, maybe you started a rumor about them, maybe you left them out, maybe you stole their boyfriend or girlfriend, maybe you literally punched them in the face, I'm not sure. But imagine that you've done something really bad, and instead of getting right with them, you just move on, you ignore it, and just move on with your life. And then a little while later, you're walking through Petco, maybe trying to buy a ferret or something, and you run into their dad. And you know that he knows what you did to their child. Ugh. And that does not feel good. Well, here at Transit, we say it all the time, you are a child of God. Okay, God loves you, and God cares about you, and you matter to God, and you belong to God, and that's so real. But also, your brother is a child of God. Okay, that bully at school is a child of God. Your friend is a child of God. Your sister, your small group leader. All these people are also children of God that God loves and cares about. So, God cares about you, and God cares about them, and God cares about your relationship. So God does care about you, and God cares about them, and God cares about your relationship, which is why Jesus was saying, hey, this is really important to God, that you apologize, that you make things right with the people around you. So what does an apology even look like? I'm gonna go through a couple of things, and the first thing is to you just say you're sorry. Okay, hey, I'm sorry that I did this. I'm sorry that I left you out. I'm sorry that I said that about you. And then take responsibility, saying, hey, this is what I did, and I know that it was wrong. And then offer to make it right. Say, hey, how can I rebuild this trust? What can I do to make it up to you? And then lastly, promise it will never happen again. So rewinding to my story when I ran away from home, I came in the house, I got my lunchbox and my towel, I don't know, and I came in the house and my brothers were standing there, and I said, sorry, and then I ran upstairs and cried because it was like a lot going on. And then later my parents came home and said, you need to go actually apologize to your brothers. So I went back downstairs and I said, hey, I'm sorry for kind of running away from home. I took responsibility. I said, that was really not a cool thing to do. In fact, it was very kind of evil because I wanted you to suffer. So like, that was not cool. That's on me. And then offer to make it up to them, offer to make it right. I told them, very generous of me, they could sleep in my room on the floor to make it up to them. And they did not take that offer up. But that's all I had at the time to offer. So whatever, I did my best. And then I promised that I would never do it again. And I didn't. I never ran away from home again. And I don't, thank you so much, big deal, I know. I don't recommend running away from home. It did not go well. But hang with me, this is cool. If you look at all of the letters there, it spells stop. So, stop. If you are tempted to just move on, to not apologize, to sweep it under the rug, I want you to stop. And I want you to all yell stop. 1, 2, 3, stop! Because say you're sorry, take responsibility, offer to make it right, and then promise that it will never happen again. Because now is the time to apologize. Now is the time to apologize because ultimately God cares about your relationships. And also, you making it right with people helps your life be better. So while I've been talking, maybe someone has popped into your head. Maybe you've thought of a situation that, yikes, you really just moved on, and maybe you should go back and you should apologize. So in just a few minutes, you're gonna circle up with your small group and talk about just that. But before we do that, I'm gonna pray.